Hi, everybody. Welcome to our workshop Wednesday about post-graduation resources that you may want to use. My name is Christine I am the STEM librarian, and I'm here with my colleague, Suzanne Abbey, who is one of our health and nursing and health sciences librarians, and also psychology and counseling. And we just have a few resources we wanted to talk to you about as you approach graduation and as you leave the university. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. There we go. And you should see the library's website now. So hopefully that's working properly. A couple of things that I want to point out as you are getting ready to graduate. Make sure that your account is clear. And the way that you can do that, if you click on advanced search here, that'll take you over to this site, and you can look at this menu and see where it says library card, my library card, and you would log in there with your Patriots credentials. Now, I need to reset my Patriots password and I can't remember it, so I don't want to go into that, but all you would do is just enter your Patriots username and password there, and it would log you in, and you could see, are there any books that I have checked out? Do I have any fees to take care of? And that would help you get those taken care of so that you don't end up with any holds on your account as you are graduating. So, something else that I think is helpful that we have is under our databases by title. There is a really cool database called the Learning Express Library, and it's over here under L. And this has some cool resources for career centers. So things that will help you with job applications, interviewing, writing resumes and writing cover letters, different fun things like that. Or at least they're fun the first few times you do them. So like this job and career accelerator here, you have a resume builder. You can actually create an account up here and sign in. And then you can save resumes here. You can explore occupations. This takes you directly into some of the information from the occupational Outlook handbook from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. There are actually some job postings in here. I think it links through Indeed, if I'm not mistaken. You can prepare for an interview. There are some ebooks about career searching, different kinds of things that can help you with some of those skills and help you get some prep done as you start going out into the job searching world. So that is there. The Career Center Plus also has some other specific exams for different types of jobs. So if you need to get some prep for any of those, I know the nursing exams would probably be super beneficial, or allied health and social workers. But those are in there too. So those are just two resources that as you head into graduation, you might find helpful. So, all right, right now I'm going to turn this over to Suzanne, and she's going to talk to you about some of the things that we have for you post-graduation.
Hi there, I'm Suzanne, and I'm just really not going to take a lot of time here, but I wanted to point out where you can access information about our services for alumni on our website. So after you graduate, your access to our resources does change. The off-campus access and services like Iliad are for current UT Tyler affiliated individuals. So if you have graduated, you will not be able to have that off-campus access or any of that. But we have collected all of the information in one spot for you if you are interested in how you might still be able to use some of our resources. You can find that information by clicking on this image here. It takes you to our landing page. And you can go to information for, and we have alumni listed here. So we have put together a guide specifically for alumni that lists out that type of information. We have here listed our frequently asked questions about what services are available for alumni, and then just some other links basically to our general library policies and those types of things. So let's take a look at this alumni resources guide. And this box here is where you want to look as far as what you might be able to do as as far as getting access to resources through us after you have graduated. So if you are able to physically come into the library, there are options available to you, and this goes through how you might be able to get a courtesy card or a community borrower card to be able to still borrow books from the library. It states here that that doesn't give you access to ILLiad or the off-campus access. Like I mentioned, these are things that are permitted only for current students, faculty, and staff of the University of Texas at Tyler. But as walk-in visitors to the library building, we do have 2 public use computers. So there are options for you after you graduate if you're able to actually physically visit us. So read over all of that if that is something that you might be interested in doing. But all of this information is here for you when you're looking for it in the future, because you still have access now if you have not graduated and you're a current student. Also on this guide, we have listed some available resources for you, and these are freely available public resources out there. So not all of the information out there, there's so much information out there, and a lot of it is still accessible because it's freely available. So we have gone through and listed some of those resources here for you to just help you get started in staying connected after you are no longer a student with us. So that's all I wanted to cover, and now I'm going to turn it back over to Christine.
Thank you, Suzanne. So we have mentioned that our proprietary resources won't be available to you offline, but in person, and that there are quite a few free resources out there for you to access really reputable and trustworthy information, and those are listed on those guides. But I wanted to talk a little bit about your public libraries and things that you can access after you graduate, even if you are not near Tyler. So if you're going to stay in the state of Texas, the Texas State Library and Archives Commission does have some programs that are available at many, and if not most, public libraries throughout the state of Texas. One of those things you'll notice up here on their website, they have services for libraries. And I wanted to talk about TextShare. So the database that I showed you earlier, the Learning Express Library, is part of the TSLAC program, but they have a lot of different databases that they make available to public libraries. So even if you lived in Austin, or you lived in Houston, or you lived in El Paso, or you lived in Marfa, you can go down to your public library and there's a good chance that you can get access through them. Some of these types of databases are going to be, here we go, listed on here. There's not a guarantee that every public library will offer access to all of these, but most of them will have access to most of these. So you can take a look. Some of the things that you may be of interest: Academic Search Complete, which is something that we offer here on campus. There's also the Complete Core Collection from Credo Reference. So if you're just needing some good reference information, that's available there. Consumer Health Complete. That is probably one that I would recommend to anybody to use, because as we get older, things happen with our health, with our parents' health, maybe our children's health. And this can get you to some really reliable information, in a lot of ways, peer-reviewed information that is stripping away some of the noise that we get when we just go to Google and search. So I highly recommend checking that out. There's also the Health Source Consumer Edition that does a similar thing. That one's set up a little bit differently, but they work really well. We also, down here, there's a Legal Information Resource Center. So if you want to write your own will, if you are wanting to lease out property that you have, if you want to sell a car, there's all kinds of information in there about different laws that may impact your ability to do that. Those Learning Express libraries that I mentioned are also available. If you, even as you graduate and you maybe don't need some of these things, if you have kids, there's information in those Learning Express libraries to help them with testing and doing some of the standardized tests and things for getting into school. So, and then small engine repair reference center down here. They also have access to the Chilton database. So if you're a person who likes to DIY and you want to work on your cars, those are going to be available to you at most of your public libraries. So there's the Chilton Library, and there's also a legal forms library. So these are, like I said, it's something that the majority of the funding comes from the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. So they're accessible in a lot of public libraries. Another thing that the Texas State Libraries offers is the TextShare card. I don't know how many of you may have gotten a TextShare card while you were here. Excuse me. But if, you know, no libraries own everything, like we just can't. But all of us try to work together to get you to the information you need. If you don't already have a TextShare card here, which if you're on our campus, you probably don't because we can get it for you, but these become really important when you graduate or if you're a distance student, because it allows you to go use other publicly available libraries in your area. So for instance, with our students on our Houston campus, I frequently let them know that they can get the TextShare card and use that to go down to use the University of Houston libraries if we aren't able to get something for them or if they need it faster. You can also take a look at the excuse me, website for this. They'll have some listings of libraries, so you can go in and let me see, they've moved the link. Well, I'm not sure where the link, oh, here we go, the Find a Library link. So you could even go over there and find a library near you. Let's search by Houston. Oh, that's not working. There we go. Oh, because I was putting in a zip code. And let's say 20 miles. So there are some branch libraries of the Houston Public Library and the Harris County Libraries. There's also, scroll down a little more, the Harris County Public Library Technology Center. So this will give you a list of libraries that participate in that TextShare program. One of those, Lone Star College University Park Library, that is a community college library, which is the next thing I want to talk about. So it'll let you know which libraries participate and where you could go and use that TextShare card. The last thing I wanted to point out, no matter where you are, even if you go outside of Texas, a lot of funding bodies for your public universities and community colleges will have some reciprocation for the community. So those are libraries that you would probably be able to use that would have more academic sources. I know that because I used to work at this library, that as a member of the public, you could come in and get a card there. And that's true for all the Lone Star colleges in Houston. But it's also true across other community colleges and public universities in Texas and outside of Texas. So first line, if you're nearby, definitely come back and see us in person. Second line, if you are not nearby, you can look at your local public library for some of those resources. And the third line, if you can't find it at one of those places, take a look at the local universities and colleges and community colleges that might be in your area. That is what we have for you. Do we have any questions today? I don't see anything coming in the chat, and I don't see any hands raised. If you do have any questions about any of the material we've covered, please reach out to the library. We're happy to help in any way that we can. And like I said, make sure you use those other public library resources that you have in your community even after you've left us. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.